Now, Brett, we still have the beginning of the NHL season that has just recently started, and we're going to hop into Monday night's games right now. Just 4 games to pick from. Seattle's continuing their road series. They're going to Philadelphia on Monday. I can't bet on that game because of being a Flyers fan, I'm going to stay away. I was looking at their Tuesday game against the Devils, but I can't bet a team that's playing back-to-back road games like that. Not right now. So Monday night, I'm looking at the Ducks and the Flames. And what I'm going to do is I'm waiting till Monday to hear about John Gibson. He's listed as day-to-day the goalie for the Anaheim Ducks. And if he is going to be returning in this game, then I will be backing the Ducks on the money line. It's plus 154 right now. I'm sure that's going to change a lot if Gibson is announced to be the goalie, but I have faith in Gibson when he's in the net for the Ducks, at least for the beginning part of this year right now. We'll see how he returns from this injury that he had, but the Flames, they're not playing too well to start early on either. They are 0-1 to start their season with a 5-2 loss to Edmonton. So I'm backing the team that at least already has a win on the board.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'll be honest, I have not watched either Calgary or Anaheim yet. I'm not very familiar with either team's roster at the moment. But I will say, you betting against Johnny Hockey, that's a little upsetting for me. You got the nickname Johnny Hockey like Johnny Goudreau. Uh, you've always got my support. Johnny Hockey, Johnny Football, Johnny Basketball. I'm gonna root for the Johnnies.
You root for the Johnnies. I'm going to root for John Gibson, because he was in the net when the Anaheim Ducks got the win the other night. But like I mentioned last episode, Brett, and like was a theme in our NHL segments the last season, is Oregon gives out multiple days of NHL lines. So we also have some Tuesday lines that we got to look at. I like the Stars and the Penguins, 2 teams with some very high octane offenses expected for this season. Both, okay, Dallas's offense hasn't necessarily performed up to it yet. They're 1-2 this year, but their defense and their goalie situation is a big question mark. So the overs are going to be hitting, I think, over there. And the Penguins, that offense, even right now with the injuries that it's dealing with, like Gutzel and Crosby, that are out, they're doing fine. They're getting like 5 goals a game. They're crashing through these over unders. So with it sitting at 5.5 right now, I'm taking that before it gets to 6 on Sunday night.
All right, Higgins. Yeah, I think you laid out some good reasons to take the Penguin Stars over. I think you're right. If the Penguins are averaging 5 goals by themselves, 5.5 should seem like no problem. One thing I did want to point out, I guess, for our listeners is the New York Islanders, Higgins, are in the midst of a 13-game road stand. I don't. You call it a home stand. What do you call it? A road trip, I guess.
A road trip.
Yeah, a road trip. So I called it a road stand. I that was a mistake. Road trip is actually the word I was looking for. Good call, Higgins. But yeah, the Islanders 13 consecutive games on the road. They're 0-3 to start. They face the Blackhawks with Kane and Tays and all these weapons, Higgins. I don't know if it gets any easier for the Islanders. They might need a night in their own bed. Maybe they need a Devils game or a Rangers game coming up soon. But that is something I would notice because it's rough on the road, Higgins. I've done 13 consecutive nights on the road, but not 13 consecutive games. That is a ton of road games to start your year.
The Islanders don't return until November 20th. They play in New Jersey on November 11th, but then they have to travel immediately and go down to Tampa Bay in Florida before they return back home for a brief home stint, and then they go back on the road again. It's a brutal start to the Islanders season. You're absolutely right, Brett. That is a rough way to start a season.
Yeah, 0-3 going into Chicago. Chicago home dogs. I thought was enticing, but I didn't want to pull the trigger, Higgins, because I'm a big believer in the Islanders team as a whole. I think they probably would be who I'd bet on to come out of the East because it's no fun to pick the favorite, right? But I think the Islanders could be that good. I just think this start of the season is going to be rough. I don't know where their first win comes. It could come at Chicago. They're favorites on the road, Higgins, without a win, but Blackhawks plus 105 is talking to me a little bit. And then you also pointed out to me, Higgins, that the Seattle Kraken have quite the road trip to start out their season. I know they've got the Devils on Tuesday. I believe they have the Flyers on Monday, so maybe that's a back-to-back there, Higgins. So
Back to
just,
back, short little trip from Philly over to Trenton, but
yeah.
I mean it's still road trip night back to back, and both of those arenas are pretty tough to play in, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough to play back to back, tough to be on the road to start your year. So, those are two teams we have circled. We'll have our eye on watching how they fare on all these road games, Higgins. So, just something for our gambling friends, our listeners to keep their eye on.
Absolutely, but Brett, I mentioned Tuesday hockey.